On our podcast show this week, you know what? A lot of us have set some pretty lofty goals for 2025, and some of them have to do with fitness.
That's right.
I'm sure that every gym was filled up on January 1st or 2nd with a whole bunch of people that have not exercised since last January 2024. And of course, right afterwards, we have all of the physio and chiropractic offices filled up with new customers.
That's right.
Immediately
Injuries.
so, right? Due to injuries that overuse things, because you can't just exercise once and make it part of your life immediately. Most habits take about 30 days of consistent
And
treatments.
That's right. And you do it gradually. You can't just jump
You
in.
can't just jump into it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I myself am now, I can consider myself a runner because since January of 2024, the 2023 is when I started
Yes,
running.
that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I bought a treadmill and I started running consistently, and I could not, like, I had some very false starts. Like most people, like, you go to the gym, you're going to lift the heaviest weight that you can, and then the next day you'd regret it. I did that a couple of times because I thought, hey, you know what? I ran before, I can run again. No, I cannot. So I ended up blowing out my knees. You remember that in 2023?
That's right,
I had
'cause
to
you had-
crawl onto a plane to Taiwan.
That's right. You had these socks or braces that you had?
Braces, right?
Yeah, yeah. for
But
your
you know
knees.
what's really funny though is that in addition to the braces and the hot weather and everything like that, one of the dietary things that we did differently in Taiwan was that we ate a lot of beef noodle soup.
Oh, we did, yeah.
And because beef noodle has a lot of collagen in it,
Collagen, gelatin, yep.
my knees started feeling better. So the warm weather and the collagen actually fixed my knees up, reduced the inflammation. And by the end, I was actually walking again, which was really funny to me.
Yeah.
So diet is something that we're going to touch on in this podcast.
That's true.
There's a lot of things that we need to touch on. Apps, exercises, and some equipment that we want to speak about so that you can be your best in 2025 and maybe hang on for just a little bit longer so that you can build up that beach body for the upcoming May, June, and July, and in August, of course, right? So I guess one of the first things that we need to talk about are some of the apps that we use to track our fitness and everything like that. Do you have any favorites?
Well, of course, I'm using now. I've actually separated my phone. Right, so the Samsung is for my work with video and photos, and the Apple I use for personal stuff, so including banking, all that kind of stuff, and fitness. So of course I'm using the Apple iWatch, using the Samsung.
Yes.
So Apple iWatch, that's what I'm using. It integrates pretty well with the iPhone, and I'm using that, and it tells me all the stuff usual, the amount of steps I'm using. You can actually set it up for fitness, like, you know, the high intensity training, that kind of stuff. So that's not bad, actually. It's all, I don't need to use any other apps, to be honest with you. The Apple Fitness has it all. And the other app I used to have, or before using Apple Fitness, is the Keep Runner. Is it Keep Runner? Runkeeper. And that's pretty good because it tells you, it actually does GPSing as well with the maps and everything.
Okay.
Because it tells you the track that you're running on, the actual route. And also I think it's the rate or the rhythm or the kind of, what do you call them, the steps?
Steps per minute.
Steps,
SPM.
yeah. So it gives you that as well, and it gives you goals as well. You can do that, and also the amount of kilometers you actually run. So I was using that for a while, and that was pretty good because it gives you achievements and goals and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it gamifies things.
So I like that, and that's the one I used before. But then the rest is Apple Fitness, and so that's what I'm using. What about the Samsung?
Well, on the Samsung side, you have Samsung Health as the native app. It does track. It gives you an entire library of exercises in which you can watch videos and follow along to. It works best if you have a Samsung Watch because obviously when you're away from your phone or you don't have it on you, it fails to track your location, your GPS, and your reps. So matched with a Samsung Watch, like if you had an Apple Watch, it really maximizes the experience. So I would say that if you wanted to get really serious with your fitness, you should have not only your phone, but also your watch.
Yes.
And they start at about $170 or so for a watch within that either ecosystem to get you can do your weight training, you can do your runs, you can do your rowing, you can do your elliptical, whatever. It just tracks. It makes it a lot more informed of your decisions. And one of the things too is that as you start tracking everything, sleep tracking is also part of it. Sleep is one of the most important things.
True.
So tracking the quality of your sleep, you may find out that you may have sleep apnea, which is keeping you from getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous too.
Yeah, and like it'll track your oxygen usage. So if you're below 50% some nights, you know what? You probably aren't breathing, in which case you probably aren't having a good night's sleep.
The oxygen tracker or oxygen meter.
Yep.
Samsung has it, right?
Samsung has it.
So they're paying licenses for it.
Samsung did it right.
Sweet. Yeah. Apple, certain watches don't have it.
Yeah. So all of the Samsung watches do have it, and it's able to track. My utilization personally is anywhere between, and I think this is good. It's not 100% accurate. You do need like an oxygen tracker specifically for this, but it's anywhere between 77 to 98%. I was tested for sleep apnea before I actually started my run journey back in 2023, and it was bad. I was basically not breathing for a portion of every minute. I was not breathing, so it was very, very bad. I still have the machine. I don't use it. It needs a cleaning, obviously, right? But that test that they gave me with their sensor system told me like, yeah, you definitely need some help.
So when you're running now, when you started running, is it better now?
Oh yeah. No, I'm 98% oxygen saturation.
Okay.
So I wasn't that way. I was like very much below that most of the time, and the sleep apnea test definitely corroborated with that. So it's definitely something. Number one, take care of the sleep. Take care of the sleep, and then everything will come into play because you'll just feel more invigorated. So get a watch, use your phone, use a native health app from Apple or from Samsung. On Pixels, that's going to be Google Fit. So then that way you have a baseline in which to launch off any of your fitness endeavors. Because if you really do have a problem with your sleep, and you need to wake up at 6 o'clock every morning to do your exercise because that's the only time you can fit it in, chances are you will not. So it might be a good idea to go see your doctor and then get referred to a sleep specialist. There are lots of places that do that, and then have that test done to make sure that you're taking care of your sleep, number one. Okay. These machines may cost a lot of money. Once you are diagnosed with sleep apnea, you do have to wear a mask. You do have to get used to it. There's at least a 30-day adjustment period in which you don't really like sleeping with this mask on your face, but they have a bunch of different ones. So they will give you a couple to test, and then you go with the one that you want. Health insurance does cover this if you have that coverage. If not, you're looking at anywhere between $500, maybe $1,000 for one of these machines. They're not cheap, okay? But they will improve your quality of life, and they will make things better for you so you can wake up and do your exercise.
Because you've had sleep apnea before, so what are the actual symptoms of having that kind of,
you just don't sleep well. You wake up in the morning and you absolutely don't feel refreshed.
You don't,
It doesn't matter how long that you sleep for. It's like it gets worse and worse and worse. And you just feel like you're just not all there. With starting the exercise and everything, those results may compound because you're tired from exercise and you are tired from trying to wake up early. Right. But because you're not sleeping, those things all work together against you.
Because you're not getting enough sleep. Your body's not recovering. No
recovery is happening because you're not getting enough oxygen into your cells to make those recoveries. Those tears and rips in your muscles.
Because when you sleep, your body goes into a repair mode, a repair state where,
So it's not going into repair mode, right? So imagine if you had no healer during a raid in a video game. Yeah, you're not healing and your weapons are not getting repaired. Okay. So if you want to think about that way, that's what's happening. So number one, sleep, use your trackers as kind of a guideline. If you see your oxygen level way below, like, I think the threshold is like 60% and below, you're not getting enough oxygen. And that explains it. And because they track sleep, you'll see how your sleep quality, it'll give you a rating. And if you're not hitting their rating, which is conservative, you're definitely going to need to see someone about that. Sleep, number one, and the apps do help. Before anything else, before you lace up your runners, take care of that sleep part. Moving on, we should probably also talk about a little bit about the watches because that's kind of the next step after you start to be more aware of like I would start off if you're like starting from zero. just walks every morning.
Just the walks. Yeah. I mean,
Right?
that's if you think about it, you don't have to go to like a really heavy run.
No.
Just do like walking around the park.
30 minutes
30
every
minutes.
day.
Yeah, even if you just go and get your milk, groceries.
Same time every day.
Just go there, just do your like 10, 15 minute walk or whatever. It gets you out of the house for a start. It gets you fresh air, right? Because air inside your room versus air outside.
It's very different.
It's different, of course. Unless you live in a city area where there's a lot of traffic, that's a different story, right? But definitely go outside, get some fresh air, and walking helps because you're doing that circulation helps. And I noticed that because back when I was in Hong Kong, I wasn't doing much exercise. I was eating just regular. I wasn't eating healthy, but just eating regular. I found my foot. I had gout, believe it or not.
Yes, and this is what's going to happen to you if you just eat meat and eggs.
I just got gout. What the hell? I'm in my 30s, and suddenly I got gout.
You got gout. Too much meat, too much protein, not enough exercise,
and you notice because when you wake up in the morning, your foot. Oh my god, the pain! It's unbelievable. But then throughout the day, it's no problem. And then one of the solutions I found was to drink lots of water because you need to flush out those crystals. It's built up of crystals in your foot, basically, those uric acid.
Yeah, you need to drink. Yeah, drink the water.
Drink loads of water, flush your system out, and just eat more veg and that kind of fiber stuff as well. So it helps. But that took probably about a month of realizing what happened to my foot. Then for a month onwards, eat a bit, drink a little bit more, eat more fibrous foods. Yeah. And then that kind of helped a little bit. And it's better now.
So I think we're talking about habits. And again, it takes 30 days to build a habit. Those 30 minutes walk every day is you committing to a time of day and amount of time that you want to exercise for. And as you get more fit and as you start to become more acclimatized to this sort of a period of time where your body is moving and getting the oxygen and the exercise it needs, you're going to probably want to increase the intensity. But before that, you need to carve out that time of day every day. And one of the other apps that you should probably use is maybe just your calendar app and say, for this 30 minutes in the morning, I'm waking up, I'm setting the alarm, I'm waking up. I'm going to do 30 minutes of walking. And then I'm going to increase it in the next month to 45 minutes in total walking. Not running, not jogging, just that. All right. And then eventually what you might do is you want to do some, add in some calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever, just to kind of give yourself a little bit of variety. You can start adding in running probably a little bit later on, but make the time. Take care of the sleep so you can have that time.
Yeah, it's just the most important part. It's just to get yourself into a routine. I think that's once you have that routine set up, you're going to be doing it regular. And then once you feel a little bit more energetic, because you will feel energetic, you feel a little bit more energetic, and then you can maybe like a month or two later start some light jogging. Right? And just kind of build up from there.
And because you're wearing your watch as well, too, you will see the progression of all of these little added steps to your exercise routine, especially if you're starting from zero, right? If you set a goal that you want to run a 5K, there are lots of different apps. We'll talk about that in 1 second. But, just setting apart that time every day because you never had it before to build a routine, to build a habit. It takes 30 days. And it also, once your body starts to miss it, when you don't take that 30-minute walk, that's when you know that you've turned it into a habit, right? It's going to take a while.
And then it's a good thing about those watches is that it actually buzzes you.
You can set it to do that. It's not by default, but you can have it every hour to do some movement. So what I like to do is I have it set to buzz me every hour saying, hey, you haven't moved in an hour because I'm in front of my computer. No problem. I'll just do 10 squats, 10 body squats, and then I'm back in the chair. Right?
Yeah.
Or get up, walk around, grab a coffee, come back.
That's true.
Right?
Just walk around, man. Just you go sit on your chair. You sit in your chair literally 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
If you work, right? And like just get up and walk around. It's like imagine just sitting there like in a plane.
Yeah.
Right? And you're in an airplane, and some people say you have to get up. Really?
Yeah.
You sit there for 8 hours, man.
You can't.
You get up and move around. That kind of stuff.
So the habit is built. So now you've got 30 to 45 minutes every day that you've built a habit. You've used apps that you've already have in your possession, Google Health, Apple, Apple Health, Apple Fitness, Samsung Health, and you've got it in your schedule now. Every day you get up and you do this one thing. It can be, you know what? It can even be stretching. Just as long as you take 45 minutes to do a thing that is to your health, you're good. Now, what's the next step up? Of course, we're going to add watches. We're going to add some gadgets. But before we add gadgets, we should also look at what you want to do with your goals. So goal setting. What I found is that with a lot of the goals and everything out there is that having a gamified thing attached to it is really fun. Now, Samsung Health, Apple Fitness, and Google Fitness, Samsung Health in particular, because, they're Korean, so they're like Squid Game crazy. There's actually these challenges that they have inside the app that let you compete against everyone else that you know with a Samsung phone.
All right, so
step challenges.
Okay, so if you're in the Samsung ecosystem, and you got the Samsung Health, you're in this kind of community already.
You can be in this community with everyone else that you know. Now they have to sign up and opt in as well too, but you can join a community that basically has like everyone that with a Samsung phone using Samsung Health to compete against each other for step count. Like usually it's step count specific, but if you want, if you want to get even more social, then you're probably going to want to opt for my favorite apps. It's kind of a social network for fitness. It's called Strava.
Strava, okay.
So Strava has a paid and a free version. It's more of a run endurance app, but it does track workouts and fitness as well too.
Okay.
I filter for only the activity related to running because I only use it specifically for running. But what I find is that it's no drama. It's not like Instagram or whatever. You basically, the saying is that all kudos, no drama. So you either thumb up people's efforts or you don't.
Okay.
Or you don't, right? You can leave a comment if you want, but it's not built for that.
It's a social media kind of sport, fitness kind of community.
It's very much social, right? If you want to pay for it, then it will give you more stats and analysis of your efforts and everything, and give you more thumbs up in the app. The AI will analyze your workouts and do that for you. But the free version, I find very, very good. It tracks all your runs. It maps all your runs. You may choose to use some privacy settings to cut off where you start and where you end, so no one knows where you live. This is especially important if you're a female runner and you are on the platform and you're prominent. Unfortunately, we live in that world that where people do think that they are not there's no consequences for your actions.
Privacy issues are definitely,
and also boundaries and whatnot. So we do live in that type of world. Please be careful with that type of information as you leak it. However, internally, you will see yourself doing challenges and you're actually beating other people on the same paths. So your speeds, your segments on certain runs, if you run at a certain pace, you can beat other people.
So it's like almost a game challenge.
It's a game challenge, right? It gamifies the act of running, cycling, a bunch of other sports.
I saw a social media post, which was quite funny, and it was a bunch of guys. And I'm not sure whether it's a phone or wearable, but every time it pings them, someone beat your score.
Yes.
And then he just gets up and starts.
So Strava hunters, right? They're hunting for all these segments that people have achieved. And during the workday, when they know that their buddies are at work, they will actually go and beat the records.
Yeah.
And it drives them nuts. Drives them bonkers.
Yeah,
so this is
funny.
But it encourages exercise, encourages fitness, right? Which is actually one of the fun things. That's one of my favorite apps out there that encourages, that sort of camaraderie, that the challenges are being broken. There was some cheating in the past, but now it's been kind of nullified because of GPS and all sorts of things.
Right.
But like those types of apps make things fun, along with Samsung Health, Apple Fitness. I don't know if Apple Fitness has that kind of a scoreboard system.
I think it does, but I don't actually use it as much.
Okay.
But my wife uses it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially for her like Pilates and yoga stuff like that, and it does measure all your stuff like heartbeat, or calories burned, that kind of stuff, right? So that's all good information. But it's not just apps that you want to use. Of course, you got to have the routine, and then of course make it fun.
So we've built the routine. We've got the apps. Now we have to look at gadgets as well too. So watches.
You
got the Apple Watch.
Apple Watch.
I've got the Samsung Galaxy
Yeah.
Watch 7 Ultra now.
Yeah. I haven't got the Apple Ultra watch, right? Watch Ultra. Apparently it's good for all that outdoor sportsy things. I don't need it because I'm not that kind of person now at my age anyway.
Yeah, people still wear them because it's a status symbol.
Yeah.
But I find that the Watch Ultra itself is adequate for most things. The Samsung Watch Ultra people will also probably agree that GPS is fine.
Yep.
Tracking fitness is fine unless you're super duper really. You need absolute accuracy. They're fine, right? They're good, but the battery life sucks.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
Right?
The battery life. Yeah,
if
you
I
gotta
do
charge every day.
If I do a 1 hour run, I have to after the run. I feel that I have to run back and actually put it on the charger because it sucks up so much battery life, right?
Definitely have to charge every day.
So, what is the next iteration? What's the next step up? If you get serious about any of your fitness, you're going to have to go for a dedicated fitness watch. Now, fitness watches typically have battery life that is not 2 days. They have a week or longer battery life. So my Garmin, I have an older one. It's called the 255 Music, which is still supported by Garmin, still sold. It's an older watch, but it's still active on the roster. It uses a MIP screen, which means it's not OLED, so it doesn't look that great, but it has amazing battery life. I can forget about this watch and just wear it for a week. It tracks all my workouts every single day. I charge it like once a week.
But it also gives you something like you said before about I know your mood. What's that thing that you mentioned? It tells you how much energy level.
Body battery.
Body battery.
Yeah, it's like a body battery thing. Like Samsung has started to do it, but I find that the Garmin is a little bit more accurate,
right?
Because it also gives you a recovery period where after you do a workout of this intensity, based on what you've done in the past. You're ready to perform again within 12 hours or 36 hours. So the next day, it'll recommend that, hey, you know what? It's going to take you 36 hours to recover. Maybe you should go for a walk instead.
Okay.
Right? Things like that.
It recommends
workouts, right? So the workout are recommended based on your fitness level at the time, based on all information that you've given it, right? So the more you wear it on workouts, the better it is at predicting what your body battery is, how long it's going to take you to recover. It also does sleep tracking as well too. It also does one other measure, which is actually highly studied, is your VO2 max. So your VO2 max is basically the ability of your body to process oxygen and turn it into energy, right?
Right.
And that is ultimately related to your longevity. Some studies have linked the two together. So I myself, right now, I'm a 42. I'm like good for my age, but I'm not great. So it does help out, and it has a lot more metrics. The steps per minute and everything that Winston talked about earlier on, that's actually tracked way more accurately, including your oscillation, how lopsided you are in your runs, how heavy your runs are.
Proper fitness watch, the Garmin is a lot more.
It's a lot more.
Yeah. More focused on the fitness and activities and stuff like that, right?
If you're about to do your first 5K, 10K, or whatever, you want to get serious about it, and you have a Garmin with you, that watch will actually be able to train you with recommended workouts to your 5K goal if you set it in the system. It has a built-in coach and everything like that. It will even allow you to race against yourself. It'll even give you a pacing coach when you on the day when you want to do your 5K run at the race. It'll give you a pacing coach to give you the goal time that you want to achieve on that day.
Yeah, it's important, especially if you're doing long runs and build up, especially if you want to, for example, hey, I want to do a half a marathon or a marathon. You can't just jump in and do it, because I've heard people that finished in a marathon.
They finished it.
And then they literally passed away the next day.
Yep.
Because
it happens.
The body can't handle it, right? So you need to build it up, train your body.
Adaptation.
And then once you do that, and the best watch to do is with the Garmin, because although Apple Watch is
Garmin's good.
It's more of a fashion thing, right?
Well, no, some people do use their Apple Watches, but if you do a marathon on an Apple Watch, you may not have a watch that's functioning by the end of the run, which means that you may not capture all the data. At least with a Garmin, you know that you have enough battery life to run 2 marathons, right? So they're different tools for different purposes. Right. And also, one of my favorite things is that if you want to get accurate running data as well as heart rate data, an optional strap can be linked to your watch to extract that data.
The strap can be linked up to the Garmin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have that available along with foot pods as well too to measure your feet.
You probably can't do that with the Apple because it's proprietary.
It's a closed off system and it makes it very difficult for third-party devices to really push that information and read off of it, right? So Apple Watches, Samsung a little bit better, but it's still a little bit funny. They said in one of their presentations that they were integrating with power measurement pedals for cyclists. But even that is not clear. At least with Garmin, it's clear what you can actually add to it. They have some of their own devices themselves, but they work with a number of major players as well. Coros is the other brand out there. They make some fantastic watches. So if you don't want to be in the Garmin ecosystem, and Garmin makes a lot of different things like dash cams, GPS devices, satellite communication devices, then I think Coros might actually have less noise. And they are used by some of the top marathoners in the world, like Eliud Kipchoge, who is the GOAT of marathons. That guy is amazing. And also a number of other athletes that only focus on the sport of running and other endurance type sports. So if you want to only focus on that, I would, and their watches tend to be, I wouldn't say less expensive. They're definitely as expensive.
Do you remember way back in the 80s? They had this watch. It's called the Ironman.
Yeah, they still make that. A lot of people still run with that.
The Ironman is a sporting challenge, isn't it?
No, it's a stopwatch.
It's a stopwatch. After they had this Ironman challenge thing that they did, and it was to do with like running, cycling, swimming, and stuff like that.
Well, the Ironman is still an event.
Yeah.
But the Ironman watch was initially built to measure your segments in the time.
Yes.
But it does nothing else except measure time.
It does, because back then we didn't have that kind of technology for your...
Well, not wearable, waterproof. I mean, if you want to wear that stuff, you would probably slow yourself down.
But it was a really cool watch. It was massive, right? And it had like all this... Well, it was 80s anyway.
It's still available today. You can still buy that one. A lot of old school...
Casio? Wasn't Casio?
No, it's a Timex.
Oh, Timex.
Yeah,
okay.
Timex. Okay. But technology has evolved to the point where you can measure everything now. And if you wear one of these fitness watches and you make a change in your diet, it will pick that up. But you can note it saying, I've decided that I don't want to do this gout-inducing egg and steak diet that they call it. I'm going to change to a soup diet. On that day, when you change to the soup diet, you can measure your exercise progression and what changes happen at that point. And then maybe the soup diet isn't for me. Maybe I should mix soup and real food together. So on this day, you made that change. Now you can see the different changes. So there's a granularity to having all this data because if you look at it, you really can't go against the data because it's you. It's a mirror held up to your face saying, you're doing this. This is what's happened. Yeah. You idiot.
I noticed my father-in-law now, he's having this patch that he wears.
Yep.
And the information goes from that patch into his phone.
Yeah, that's how he knows to do his next shot.
Yeah. So are we going to see more of this type of technology now integrated to the phone?
It's being utilized in the Tour de France.
Oh, okay.
They have this patch so that when you wear it, so your blood sugar levels, once they go to a certain point, you're supposed to take one of your things and you take in the sugar. So it's optimizing the intake of nutrients as you do these long endurance runs. Apparently, in some events, they've started to outlaw them because it's an advantage.
Okay.
Right?
But it's nothing illegal, is it? It's just like energy, sugar.
For normal people?
Yeah.
For normal people doing exercise, no. For competitive athletes, it might be a gray area. I think they're starting to crack down on it. I'm not sure. If you know any more of that, please let me know in the comments.
Interesting.
But it is an advantage because once you know how to feed yourself at a certain time, it's kind of a hack.
Because it's like when you do exercise, for example, a friend, he never done any Thai boxing before, right? So he just went straight in without having no food. He had food like lunchtime.
Yeah.
But the training session was after work around about 6. So he didn't eat anything before the session. Yeah. So he was doing it for solid, like Thai boxing is really intensive, right? Did it for an hour. When he finished, he was literally pale
Yep.
And he was
out.
like passed out.
Yep.
And we had to call an ambulance.
Yep.
But it was okay at the end. So basically what happened was it literally drained him all of his energy, all of his sugar, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was gone. So the ideal thing is before you exercise, have some food half an hour or an hour before your session.
I agree with that.
That would be better.
Yeah. Even an energy bar or even a electrolyte drink would make a big difference because a patch like that, will it become mainstream? Actually, Samsung's working on technology where it can actually measure that in upcoming products. So if it's able to do that, it can then warn you that you should probably eat something before because you're starting to crash here. So before you actually exercise, eat. And then it'll pick it up. Will it be accurate? We don't know, right?
That's what we need. That's what I need because when I don't have enough food, you know me.
You get hangry.
I get angry.
Get hangry. Everyone does. Okay. So technology is coming to help that out. But, like a watch would basically be your next step because it helps all of your exercise. It measures everything. It even helps you with your hydration. So it'll remind you every hour or so, hey, have you had some water yet? You should probably have a little bit of water.
Definitely hydrate.
How much did you drink? Okay, good. We'll track that along.
You should drink a lot of water.
So the next step is basically tracking your eating. So with this technology coming up, I think it's going to make a lot of a big difference to people and their feeding habits because then they'll tell you, you really don't need to eat right now. You shouldn't eat because you're already good. But if it drops off, this is a good time to eat because everyone's a little bit different, right? Their consumption's a little bit different.
It's true when they say not have like 3 big meals a day, have like 5 smaller meals. Yeah. That helps actually.
Yeah. Well, this type of technology will help because it's saying, you're going to crash if you don't have something to eat now. And this will probably be more in line with what you're saying with the multiple meals a day. Everyone's going to be different. Some people subsist on 3 meals a day. That's fine. But some people actually do need to snack throughout the day because their blood sugar is fluctuating.
Yeah. That's what I find myself. Right? Sometimes I snack throughout the day, but they're not big meals. And we're not talking snacks as in chocolates or chips or anything like that. It's just maybe a yogurt or a fruit or an apple or a banana.
It's your energy consumption as well too, because I consume energy differently. Like for example, you feel that this room is probably cold. I actually think this room is too warm right now because I actually expend a lot more energy, right? So our difference means that when we go and eat, I might actually not need as much food, even though I might want to eat as much. I should probably eat less. Yeah. So technology is coming on the way. What else have we got to make you feel better about your exercise? Well, you know what? I think the next 2 things will probably be the clothing on your backs, what you wear. And there's a lot of different tech clothing out there, different shoes out there for different purposes, right?
Yeah, we did a show on
we actually
shoes.
talked about that recently, but I think we need to reiterate the fact that don't wear cotton. It's going to soak up all of their sweat and everything like that, and you will be uncomfortable. Find some high performance moisture wicking material in your exercise clothing and make sure that you wash it right after so it doesn't harbor bacteria and smell. There are a lot of different brands out there. I'm not going to name specific ones, but I do really like the Lululemon stuff. The way it fits is really nice. There's other brands like Under Armour always on sale. Yeah. Right?
Those big brands like that, they're not cheap, but they are performance because I do wear them myself, Under Armour and things like that, Lululemon.
Yeah, and Old Navy. Don't be afraid to go to Old Navy and get your first workout stuff out there. Just make sure that it fits and feels good first. Get your first set. Get two sets, long and short, and maybe a couple extra bottoms and tops. And then that way you've got your workout garb for the entire week. You have no excuse that you don't have clothing because you'll make that excuse if that excuse is available, right? No cotton socks. Make sure that you wear a sports sock because it will wick away moisture. It'll also make your feet feel a lot better. No blisters, right? Because if you have a blister, that's another excuse that you're not going to exercise the next day as well too. So remove all the excuses. I think the only thing that we just need to touch on is basically footwear because a lot of people, when they have a foot issue, that's another excuse not to exercise, right? True. Legs sore, like all these things. So good footwear really puts a smile on your face because when you put your feet into the shoes and you get out there, there's this bounce. You actually want to go do something with them. Plus, they look great. So I think that in a lot of cases, people buy running shoes to do gym workouts. Not a good match.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
It's true.
And the main reason why is because stack height. Your shoes are not stable. that stack height is for you going this way, not
Going forward, yeah.
forward.
Yep.
So if you're lifting weights with like Alpha Flies, which are marathon shoes that have like almost 40 millimeters of cushion, that's going to compress before you lift up the thing.
Yeah.
4 centimeters almost, right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that's going to happen, and you don't want that to happen, right? So I think that shoe selection. So if you're going to play badminton, you want a badminton shoe. If you're going to do something else, you want to do something else as well too. So pick the right shoe for the right thing. If you're primarily going to run, buy a running shoe, right?
True.
Go to and you're not going to always love the first shoe that you own, right? Because your journey is going to be long into your golden years.
Yeah.
You may choose one brand to start out with, and then you may end up with a completely different brand.
Yeah.
You also,
There's different shoes with different type of things. I mean, there's certain brands for hiking. I think what's that brand I hadn't even heard of? It was before all you knew was Adidas and Nike and all that and Reebok. Then there's other brands which I never heard of, right? And even Columbia makes hiking shoes just for hiking, but then running, there's different brands of running shoes I never heard of.
Yeah, because your feet are different. Everyone's feet are different. Yeah. And because shoes are typically confine your feet, everyone has no one has the same foot shape, right? Everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But in order to appeal to a lot of different people, they kind of go through, the middle. So if you have a really wide foot,
yeah.
A wider foot, and this because your pinky toe is scraping on the outside of your running shoe all the time, it's bleeding.
Oh.
Right? And that happens, maybe the shoe is too narrow for you, right?
Yeah.
If you have a very wide foot, and a lot of people do, they don't want to talk about it because it's like embarrassing or something like that. There's a brand called Ultra. They make wide flared shoes on the toe area.
Okay.
Or Topo. These shoes are there to accommodate people that actually have foot shapes, right? So if you are running, you're exercising, and they make them in different levels of cushion. If you're primarily going to be doing gym workouts and also treadmill, get a shoe that actually has less cushion, but also the right fit. These two brands do have shoes that accommodate. I myself have I have 3 pairs of Ultras because the front of my foot tends to flare out a little bit. I also have this part of my midfoot that's actually a little bit wider than normal. So their foot shape tends to accommodate wider feet.
What's that the brand? It's a Hoka?
Hoka. I can't wear them because the shape's different.
Yeah.
And I find that with the Hoka shape, your foot tends to be this way.
Slightly curved.
My pinky rubs on the very outside.
Okay.
So like I said, the first shoe that you start out with may not be the brand that you stick with, right?
Yeah.
I only discovered Ultra because that was literally my 3rd pair of shoes. Because I didn't like running in the other pair, I had to try others. So when I finally found Ultra, I realized that this foot shape was perfect for me. When I got into them, no rubbing, no blisters, no nothing. I had no excuses. Darn it. Right? So these things are very important, right?
Yeah.
Taking away the excuses, eliminating any speed bumps gives you the path to being fit and healthy,
no
right?
Excuses.
Right? And your watch is reminding you every hour to get up. Like it's already tapping you on the shoulder. Okay, good. I've got that. I've got someone to help me out. My watch is now telling me what to do for my workout tomorrow, or has told me that, you know what? You did a really good workout the other day. You're probably a little bit sore. Why don't you try this type of workout today? Or why don't you try running for 27 minutes instead of 45 today? Yeah. You did good yesterday. Yeah. Good job.
It's good to remind you doing different exercises, because when you're in the gym, for example, I do a lot of weight training.
Yeah.
For example, I'll be doing my arms, and you're going to give your arms a rest after that workout the next day or the day after that, because you can't do the same workout again on your arms because your arms didn't have time to recover. Or your muscles and stuff like that, right? So you work on a different part of your body, say the legs the next day, or the following day you could do your shoulders and chest. So different parts of your body needs time to recover and rest.
Yeah, same with running. You can't run every single day. You should definitely do a walk, right? A lot of people are prescribing that you should definitely be doing walk breaks to break up longer workouts, because they'll give your body the rest it needs in between those higher intense sessions, right? So even people that train for marathons will actually run part of it, walk part of it for certain times to recover, and then run again.
True. Yeah.
Right.
They definitely need that kind of break.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, giving your body a break, not pushing it 100% all the time is very important. And a lot of these apps build that in for you. And like if you really do need human companionship, there's always going to the gym. I know, right? It's weird, but personal training is still a thing. In fact, one of the ways that you can actually get training if you really don't want to go into a gym is there's these online services where people will actually write your workout based on the data they send back to you.
Okay.
So for example, on my Garmin watch, I can give this, there's a platform out there, a couple of them actually. I won't name them yet. I'll put them in the notes if I remember, but they'll actually have a coach connected with your data and they'll actually write your next workout for you. A person will actually look at it and say, you know what, you're doing well here so far, but you know what, you're really weak here. Why don't we add this workout here for you and see what happens? And they'll keep track of that for you. So if you need a human touch, these services are still available, or get in contact with your old coach.
And don't forget, you can't see results in only a couple of days or a few weeks.
Oh my God.
No. You need to be consistent. You need to be, regular, and also built into your routine.
Especially if you start from zero. If you don't have that routine yet, you're going to have to build it. So the first 30 days is just getting a routine. The next 30 days, you're probably going to start to realize that you're not as young as you are, or you're not as fit as you thought you were. So you might have to go see some physio and take some downtime. That's okay. By the third month, you should be cruising along a little bit more. And if you had like a 5K, like a goal to run 5K, you'll probably hit it within 90 days if you do everything correctly, right? And then you'll have your baseline. I remember when I ran my first 5K, it was 55 minutes. It was 55 minutes.
That's almost an hour.
Yeah, it's almost an hour. Now I can do it well under 30 minutes. And I do it almost every other day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It almost killed me to do my first 5K.
And don't forget to take regular rests because your body do need that.
Yeah. Yes. Rest was very important. The wisdom to be able to take a rest is very important. This is where a watch comes in. If your resting heart rate is higher than it was the previous few days, this is your body telling you that you are not recovered. You need to take a break today or go for a walk. And it's very important to listen to the data, right? There's so many people out there not willing to listen to the data right now, even though it's staring them in the face. This is the difference between success in your sport, in your goals, versus injury and sickness that will haunt you for many years, like breaking, like screwing up your knees, right? Or dietary things, right? Gotta listen to your body. We now have the tools that monitor and help you make those better decisions.
True.
Which is great. So we've got watches, we got smartphones now.
Apps.
Right? We got apps, we've got rings, and of course we have community with some of these social apps that actually
I think that's helps a lot.
fitness.
Yeah, especially with because if you feel like when you're doing exercise or you're going for this thing, you're doing it by yourself, you're all alone. You're not. You're alone. So with the community, it really helps.
And because there's so many fun things to buy, like a new running outfit or a new workout outfit, and some very inexpensively, rewarding yourself for being able to hit your next goal weight or even better, when you start shrinking in size or bulking up and you need to go up another size for your clothing, or when you have to shrink down another size and you get something really nice because you won't need your old clothes anymore. Those are achievements that you should celebrate. Spend a little bit more on the next outfit because you know that you're going to use it.
Yeah.
You're going to use the hell out of it.
It's the achievement.
And the shoes as well.
It makes you feel much, I don't know,
Like I know that people are like, you should be racing on your carbon plate shoes. You know what? If you feel that you can go faster and want to run every day with a pair of carbon plate shoes, buy the carbon plate shoes. Okay, just don't train in them all the time because there's studies to say that might not be so great. But if you're doing a fast workout, have a pair of carbon plate shoes.
How much are they?
Oh, I got mine on sale, but you can pay upwards of $300, $400 for a pair. Yeah.
But treat yourself.
Treat yourself. All right.
Okay.
So I hope that helps you
get
your fitness goals, get your game on. LFG. Let's
yeah.
freaking go.
You got a few months for the beach bod for the summer.
Oh no, you have tons of time. And you know what? Look for things that work for you. If you feel sick after eating steak and eggs and you're looking a little gaunt and your feet are hurting, there's probably a chance that you're developing gout. Stop and eat a balanced diet.
Yeah, balanced diet. Yeah, it makes sense.
And talk to a nutritionist if you're not sure what that means as well too. And a lot of the information on the internet, sometimes you really need to take a grain of salt with it.
Yeah.
Because you can also get blood measurements to say, you know what, you probably shouldn't be doing that type of diet. Get that information if you're ever in doubt.
Get it verified.
Okay. All right. From two fitness people now. Until the next podcast. I
haven't done it for a while.
Well, you know what? Get back into it.
Get back into it.
Okay. After this podcast, I'm going to go for a run. Until next time, we'll see you again.
See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.